Chapter 1. Finished. Jennifer put the last dish away in the cupboard and quickly turned toward her grandmother. You promised to read to us from Frances Mary's journal as soon as the kitchen was in order. It looks good to me, her brother Jeff said, hoping that Grandma wasn't watching. He brushed a few stray toast crumbs onto the kitchen counter into his hand and stuck his hand in the pocket of his jeans. Grandma winked at Jeff. The kitchen looks good to me, too, especially that very clean counter. She held up the book, which was covered in faded blue fabric, and said, I have the journal right here, so why don't we settle down on the screen porch and read about the Kelly family's next adventure? Jennifer and Jeff raced to see who could get to the porch first. Jennifer curled up in the cushions of one of the wicker chairs and squirmed with anticipation as Grandma opened the book to Frances' delicate, spidery handwriting. Frances Mary dated this entry autumn of 1863, Grandma said. Was the Civil War over then? Jeff asked. No, Grandma said. The war between the states was escalated. In January of 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing all the states' slaves in Confederate states, and the bitterness and anger increased. Surprised, Jeff said. That was 2 years after the war started. I thought freeing the slaves was what the war was all about. Last year in history class, Mr. Wilson told us the main reason for the war was economic, Jennifer said. The northern states wanted to put a stop to slavery in the United States, but the people in the southern states said their economy would collapse without slave labor. They seceded from the Union so they could form their own country, and they fired the first shots, which began the war. Wishing that Jennifer wasn't always such a know-it-all, Jeff grumbled, Okay, I let Grandma get started. I want to hear more about Frances' story. So do I, Jennifer said. She settled back as Grandma began to read. No one who has been touched by the devastation of war could possibly understand its horrors. With some commanders and their troops, it is not enough to win a battle or lay claim to strategic areas. People like Confederate William Quantrill and his raiders seem to take great satisfaction in terrorizing entire villages by stealing, burning, and destroying homes and stores, and even worse, randomly killing all males who favor the Union, including young boys and elderly men. During the 4th week of August, we gave shelter to a badly frightened woman who had escaped from Quantrill's murderous sack of the town of Lawrence by fleeing northward. It was the mercy of Providence that led her to our quiet farm community and to our home. In spite of the kindness and reassurance shown to her by the Cummingses, Violet Hennessy, for that was her name, was so shaken and fearful that for days she could not abide to be left alone. I cannot remain in Kansas, Violet told us. I must go home to Boston. Travel this time will be difficult, Mrs. Cummings had told her, but Violet was insistent. I've heard that there's still trains that leave St. Joseph for the east, she said. She seemed intent, almost stubborn. St. Joseph, like all of Missouri, is in turmoil, but the area in and around St. Joseph has been spared the violent attacks from jayhawkers and bushwhackers that have plagued the counties along the border further south. Frances, you told me yourself that your family members who live in and near St. Joseph have remained free from harm. Violet's thoughtful, deliberate words were in vivid contrast to her ordinary manner. As soon as she had finished speaking, she pulled her shawl more tightly around her shoulders, her sad little face poking out like a weary swamp turtle's. If I can get to St. Joseph, she said, somehow, somewhere, I'll find a safe place in which to stay until I'm strong enough to travel. A safe place in St. Joe? Immediately, I thought of Ma.